Hello, amazing people. Good evening. I trust you're well and your weekend is off to a great start. My name is Ini Akpan, also known as Ini Wright. I'll be moderating today's session. So just do me a favor and invite your friends, invite your colleagues, get them to join the class early so we can kick off. Our facilitator is in the house and we don't want to keep him waiting.
Good evening, Ini. Good evening to the ninth cohort. After this class, we would start referring to you as associates. So I think it's been a long journey. I haven't noticed the head of literacy in class. I told her to make this statement, but since she's not around, we're very proud of you. I've always said the onus of attendance was on party chairman. I don't know why it's a few minutes, we have about 18 people here. You graduate tomorrow, your attendance is still in the lacking. We've seen how many are supposed to graduate. The number can still alter. I think this is a class everybody wants to be a part of. I'm surprised we barely have anyone around. That doesn't matter, we'll still take the course and I'll still do what is necessary for the college to move forward. So this is your last class. I know it's been a long time, it's been hectic. Your graduation is on Sunday. I hope you guys are ready for that. You receive your certificates and your names called out on Sunday. We look forward to all that over the time. I would say it was a pleasurable time to interact with the ninth cohort. It was a very different experience, considering we added the party effects to it and a lot of other things that were done. I would say on behalf of the BOT, as the Board of Trustees of the college, the region of the college, myself, and everybody CJID who was part of putting this together, I would say we're very proud of what we've done. I've always stated something, even if we have 6,000 students and we graduate 12, we have altered the system of democracy in Nigeria. And that's what we've set out to do. I wish we could graduate everybody, all 435 that were here. But we know that with classes and with power comes responsibility. If there's anything the Electoral College has tried to teach in the time we have been around was to ensure that with such things comes responsibility and direction. One day you guys will be leaders. One day you guys will be in position. You would have to affirm or work with time schedules, frames. I don't think a necessary, I think in ratio of your time to the classes being free, I think if you have a passion for politics or for general understanding of how Nigeria works, I think this would be a great opportunity for you to get it. We will always say we first have to love a country to understand what we're doing. It's a long journey, it's a hard thing. And most of all, we're trying to ensure that we get the Nigerian system right. So the job is not for one of us. The job is for everyone. I just hope all the conversations we've had and everything we've done proves towards building a better Nigeria. we admire countries we want to run to, and we can't build this country without, all of us choosing to work together or trying to pull things together to ensure that this all works right. So I just thought I'd give a little pep talk. This is your last class. Take care. Best wishes to the ninth cohort. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edie. Thank you. Okay, thank you once again, Edie. And from there, we'll dive right into today's class. Our facilitator today is no stranger, and he has already spoken to us already, but I never get tired of introducing him. So, guys, our facilitator this evening is Mr. Kunle Lawal. He's an entrepreneur, idea generator, politician, TEDx speaker, and patriot. He has a keen eye for opportunities based on his experience in politics, working with non-governmental organizations and the federal government. He is passionate about Nigeria and is what could be termed a detribalized Nigerian. He considers his boundaries to be limitless and is really focused on changing the Nigerian narrative in political participation. He currently serves as the Executive Director of the Electoral College Nigeria. Kunle Lawal was a once acting National Publicity Secretary of COA Party FCT Alliance for New Nigeria Senatorial Candidate 2019, and has since transitioned to a non-partisan influential player in politics and electoral matters in Nigeria. I'm sure you have a lot more to add to his profile, having experienced him in this court and seen the gem that Mr. Kunle Lawal is. So tonight, our topic is the Nigerian Electoral Act. I'd like you all to join me in welcoming ED, Mr. Kunle Lawal. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, good day, everyone. Welcome to class. The Electoral Act. I'm sure, I don't know whether people went through it. You could just write in the chat box if you had the opportunity to go through the Electoral Act, which was placed, the 2022 Electoral Act, which was placed. It's not that I won't cover it during the class. I just felt that if you had a personal relationship with the Electoral Act, to be a lot easier. So the Electoral Act of Nigeria, well, let's not jump into that. Let's first start with the slide. So the Electoral Act, of course, is the managing partner of, or full guidelines of how elections in Nigeria are dictated. Now, we must remember that the Electoral Act stems from the Constitution, and we must understand that this generally is law. So I'm welcoming the ninth cohort to the Electoral Act, Nigerian Electoral Act. My name is your friendly Kunilawal, Executive Servant, Electoral College, Nigeria. So I'd like to know, did anybody have time to go through the Electoral Act 2022? You could just write in the chat box, I'll see it. Did anybody have time to go through it? Hello, class. Did anybody have time to go through it? Okay, Abayomi says yes. Loki says yes. Ini, can you unmute Bilkisu? Or let me allow you guys on mute. You know the tradition of the class.
I've asked her to unmute, sir.
Okay, then. Let's hear what she thinks of the Electoral Act. Bilkisu, and then I'll just take two people. Bilkisu and Abayomi. So Bilkisu goes first, then Abayomi goes after. Bilkisu, are you there? Since we can't get Bilkisu, let's Abayomi go. Hello?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello. So good evening.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you, sir. Can I go on?
Yes, you can go on, Abayomi.
Yes, thank you. Good evening, good evening, the Electoral College. Yeah, from the Electoral Act, yeah, I got there that for now there are some things that has been changed, and first of it is the primaries. They need to be done at least.
No, I didn't ask that. I didn't ask that. We'll go through that later in class.
Okay.
I just asked that. Did you go through it? What did you think? Just generally, don't need
okay,
to.
yeah, I think okay, all right. So what I think is actually a nice one that will actually propel this nation to a greater height when it comes to electioneering activities. So that's just what I think about it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Is Bilkisu available to go?
Yes, I am.
Bilkisu, you know, you women are always saying we should give you space. We've given you space. You will still be dodging. Eh?
To unmute, I don't know.
I'm just joking. Go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, every review. It seems to me like that is in there is being will be having in our election. I think we're going to have the free and fair election.
Thank you very much, Bilkisu. We can proceed with the class now. Thank you, Bilkisu and Abayomi. So, in a general introduction is an exercise of the powers conferred by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The Electoral Act 2022 as amended. Let's remember there was a preceding amendment in the Electoral Act in 2010. That was post the first Electoral Act that was part of the 99 Constitution. So it's the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. The following as contained in it are regulations and guidelines for conduct of elections. And these are all elections, being general, by rerun, supplementary elections. I'm sure we understand this is your last class, so I don't think I'm supposed to be explaining what general elections, by-elections, rerun elections, and supplementary elections are. Or do I need to explain it? I don't think I need to. I'm talking to a polytrade class. So it is necessary for effects in Nigeria, and it's the guideline, it's the gateway to which elections are being conducted. Now, there are two problems. First and foremost, I would say for an electoral act to function properly, the electorate first must know it. That's when they can ensure that the agency in charge of or the watchdog of the system, which is INEC, which gets its powers from the Electoral Act, is held accountable. As long as INEC is held accountable, political parties and candidates will follow the Electoral Act. But what is critically missing in the Nigerian prism of elections is the fact that most citizens do not understand it. And, as we go over it, you're going to find out how this happens and what should not happen and what should happen. You find out a lot of minuscule things that if you look at generally, you're going to be like, how is this happening? And INEC will feel the people are comfortable with it. If I blow whistle now, it will seem as if I'm the one attacking. But you see, the people have to be able to hold the watchdog accountable, which will make the watchdog hold the rest accountable. That's the way the system works. The watchdog cannot just start to hold. And I'll give you a clear example. If we go through the Electoral Act, you're going to find out that 30 days, excuse me, 30 days before a primaries, before a convention, or before a Congress, political parties must submit hard copy and digital copy of fully printed list of all members of the political party. As of 18 political parties, as at, I think, when that was about to start in Nigeria was June. As of June ending, no political party had completely submitted that. They even had a problem with submitting names of delegates, because now names of delegates, according to the new Electoral Act, will show you've been paying members. When you show your members now in the Electoral Act, it's not showing that you just have names. Where are the dues they paid over the last 6 months? To put that, if you notice, these elections had the least delegates ever used in a Nigerian election. But like I said, INEC did its best, but what was to be done was not exactly done. But we proceed, or as we always say, we move. So the Electoral 2028, or the Electoral Act, 2022, I don't know where I went to. The Electoral Act 2022, or the General Electoral Act for Nigeria, shows the establishment of functions, which is what we are concerned with for this class in the Electoral Act. Establishment and functions of INEC, Nigerian registration of voters and voter registration, procedures at elections, political parties, and electoral offenses. Now, I'm going to state something. I'm going to open the Electoral Act now. We're going to go through it a bit. Within this portion, if you have a question on a particular part, because we're going to be reading parts of the Act, and I'm going to go over parts of the Act that matter. I'm not going to go through the entire Act. If not, we'll virtually not close this class. So when we read something, I'll explain it. And if you don't get it, you can call me back to it, because it's wide, it's large, and it's going to take quite a lot of time to get across. Is everybody clear with that? If you're clear with that, you could just put a smiley. I don't know why you guys are not interactive today. What's going on? You guys just want to listen and watch. Is the Electoral Act scaring you guys that much? It's not injection. You guys calm down, eh? It's just something you should know. So could I get yeah, okay. Okay, great. Everybody's down with that. So without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, we will call on the Electoral Act 2022. And it's quite a lofty document. Can you guys see my screen? Can you guys see my screen, please?
Yes, Edie, we can see your screen.
The Electoral Act is fully clear on it.
No, just the letterhead. Federal Republic of Nigeria Official Gazette.
Is it clear now?
It's clearer now.
No, because you can see Official Gazette, Lagos, 29th March 2022,
yes, we can.
The Electoral
Act number. Print and publish.
No, thank you very much.
Okay.
Ini, thank you. I know you can, you can read everything. So this is the Electoral Act. So of course there's part 1, which of course covers establishment of functions of the Independent National Electoral Commission. Staff of the commission won't be bothering about that. National Register of Voters and Voters Registration. I think you guys will be concerned with that. Next will be procedure at elections, which covers 24 to about 74. And part 5, which of course political parties, which covers 75 to 97. Then part 6, which is the procedure for election area council, except you want to run for office in Abuja. I don't really think this is really something we should be going over. And then part 7, which is electoral offenses, which I think you'd love. And then determination of election petitions arising from election. Boring. Lawyers. I'm sorry, no offense. Lawyers, this is the part that will excite them. And miscellaneous provisions. So without much ado, we'll go straight into the Electoral Act itself. So, of course, enacted by the National Assembly 2022. So now establishment of Independent National Electoral Commission. So the Independent National Electoral Commission is established by Section 153 of the Constitution. In this act, referred to as the Commission, is a body corporate with perpetual succession, and it may sue and be sued in its corporate name, which means INEC can sue you, and you can sue INEC. 2, the national headquarters of the commission shall be situated in the capital FCT. In addition to the functions on it by the Constitution, the commission shall have the power to conduct voter and civic education. So 2A, conduct voter and civic education. How's INEC doing on that, please? Could I have just one person on mute and then so okay, let one person raise their hands and then on mute. I know that we have a lot to say about Nigeria, but I just want to hear, thoughts. So INEC's power in 2A here is to conduct voter and civic education. How do you think INEC has done with that? Good. You can just type in the chat box so that we do not. Good, bad, 50%, 20%. You're free to do that. So secondly is promote knowledge of sound democratic electoral processes. Okay, I don't know what INEC is doing down. 3, 2C, conduct any referendum required to be conducted under the provisions of the Constitution or an act of the National Assembly. So if Nigeria is to have a National Assembly, unlike, okay, we don't have Brexit here, so I'm going to use an example, which is common, which is if Biafra wants to leave Nigeria and a referendum is to be conducted, it will be conducted by INEC. So the National Assembly will mandate INEC to conduct that referendum. And say, this is the situation INEC conducts, take the polls of who is without, who is not with. Now, back to 3. There's an established INEC. Okay, so INEC preceding the 2022, I'll read this, then I'll tell you what it's about. So the INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission Fund, will be paid into the fund. A, such sums and payments received from federal government are available to the commission for the performance of its functions under this act. B, such sums may be credited to the fund by way of interest from investments made from the fund, and aids, grants, and other accruals to the commission in order to perform its functions. Now, preceding the 2022 Act, the way INEC received funds was elections were budgeted for. Then when federal government was in the mood, please note I'm using the word was in the mood, they will release the funding for elections. And if you notice, 2019, one of the things that caused the pushback on elections in 2019 and 2015 were not only security concerns, but the time budgets were released on some matters to INEC, it was too late for INEC to meet the stipulated electoral date. So now to cut this off, the 2022 Electoral Act has gone into INEC's finances and of course decided to say, okay, INEC has a fund which is maintained, government keeps keeping money there, so INEC can call it up. But the PowerPoint will take care of this later. I'll show you the differences between the 2022 and the 2010 Act. So for now, let's just go over what the Act is, and then we can discuss that later. So we'll go to 3. The election funds due to the commission for any general elections are to be released to the commission not later than 1 year before the next general election. It is now law. It's no more the choice of the president. It is law. And that's what it is now. So I don't want us to sit down and be really dialing over funds of INEC. It really doesn't matter to us now. Let's jump to national. Jump to part 3 quickly, 9. So section 9 of the Electoral Act. So the commission shall compile, maintain, and update on a continuous basis a national register of voters. In this act referred to as the Register of Voters, which shall include the names of all persons entitled to vote in the federal, state, local government, or federal capital election with disability, disagreement. But wait, let's go back. 9, the commission shall compile, maintain, update. Now underline this part, on a continuous basis. Now I'm going to ask you a relevant question. Has INEC broken this law by stopping the continuous voter registration? There's a date that is mandated by INEC, meanwhile, to stop voter registration before an election. But as of now, we have not reached that date. So I'm going to ask the class, has INEC broken any laws in this? Has INEC trumped on the Electoral Act in this? You know what, Ini, unmute everybody. I think we understand how the class works. I don't think this is your last class. We understand how the class works. Let someone just unmute and then, tell me what they think of this. Has INEC actually flouted this? Hello? Hello?
So I asked all to unmute, and then some people still. So I think I will just unmute those who raised their hands.
Okay, beautiful. Let's do that.
Because some people unmute and they are in a noisy place. So,
all right, thank you. Good evening, class. Good evening, Indy. I think by the electoral laws, since the dates stipulated has not been reached, I think that they've
Tokumbo, are you there? I can't hear you again. Is it just me? Ini, what's going on?
It went silent.
And then let the next person speak, Bako.
Bako, please go ahead. Okay, Tokumbo is back. Tokumbo.
All right, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes. I said by
Bako.
the electoral laws and based on the dates stipulated by INEC themselves, I think they've flouted that rule. So it's affirmative. It's yes for me that they are wrong in discontinuing the registration.
Okay, who's next? Thank you. Who's next? Ini, who's next?
Bako, please go ahead. Bako, I've asked you to mute. Go ahead, please.
Bako.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Okay.
Okay, I would think INEC actually went against the Constitution because if the Constitution warrant that it should be continuous, then at whatever point in time, they should not discontinue it. And greatly, in my own word, I would say that has greatly affected the level of voter registration, because on a daily basis, as far as we're concerned, is that everybody at every day in time, people clock 18 years. And then if they should stop the voter registration at some point and then continue it when election comes up, it makes people to gather too much. And at the end, you see that not everybody is even interested, because if you should go there, you realize that there are many people in which if they should have continued it, registration at their convenience and other things. So in my own word, I would say they have greatly go against the constitution in this regards. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paco. Solomon Hassan.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Yes, INEC went against the Electoral Act by closing the continuous voter registration. However, the exigencies of the situation, it's a new law coming at a time, it's a transitionally period. And that in itself brought a lot of challenges as to planning and organization and preparation for the coming elections. So I feel on one hand, the independent nature of INEC to conduct successful elections was why they were able to arrive at this. Based on the Electoral Act as it is in 2022,
Is Solomon there?
Yes, he's unmuted. Solomon, maybe it's his internet.
Okay, we can continue. I got his point.
Okay.
So Solomon brings something very interesting to the table. Now, I must say that because the act was signed late, there is a great parameter. There's a position where people think this makes sense, as in that the law was. The truth is that yes, INEC may have such constraints because of when the law was signed, but this Electoral Act was something that was deliberated from, I think, deliberation started sometime between 2019. The truth is that the Electoral Act and just a few additions were made to it over the years. This conversation has actually started since 2018. And I remember the proximity to elections in 2019 was what did not allow the president who is still our president, President Muhammadu Buhari, signed the Electoral Act. And now coming towards 2022, we almost made the same mistake. So I think it's put INEC in a corner, but that does not justify, because the same Electoral Act that guarantees INEC its powers is the same Electoral Act that INEC is flouting. So, of course, the argument there for democracy and everything, there's always the argument there. But I feel with better funding and with a more deliberate approach, Nigeria could have achieved this even within the time. But of course, this is always a conversation for a debate, and it's always an interesting debate, And Solomon brought, something interesting to it. Thank you very much, Tokumbo, for putting in it was always a different approach to it. So we'll continue. Now, the commission must keep a register of voters in a electronic format in its central database and manual printed paper-based record in copy format. Now, nobody ever asked INEC whether they actually have these things. But, it's law. Commission must maintain part of the register of voters for each state of the Federation and the FCT. Commission must maintain a part of the register of voters for each state and the FCT. Okay, I've said that. Register of voters must contain, in respect of each person, the particulars required in the form as prescribed by the Commission. Those are all mandates. Now, continuous voter registration. Without prejudice to 9.6, there shall be continuous registration. Again, now watch this. There shall be continuous registration of all persons qualified to be registered voters. This is affirming the fact that INEC cannot stop. So it's highly shocking that, INEC stops. Now, come down to it. Now, the commission shall, within 80 days, and let's go to 3, that's 10.3, section 10, section 3. Now, the commission shall, within 60 days, after each year, make available to every political party the names and addresses of each person registered during that year. 17 days. We all know that that has not been done. So it is highly funny that we find ourselves within this. Now, Of course, we'll come to appointment of officers. And then I'm just taking major parts of it. I don't want us to go through everything. Probably can't finish it. I don't think we can finish major parts. So for the purpose of maintaining and updating the voters register, the commissioner shall appoint such registrations, revision or update officers as it may require, provided that such officers shall not be members of any political party. Does this come to mind when some recs were being picked up? And people were denying being party members when their handles, their social media handles, their actions, videos, everything had a lot of things. So a person has to be qualified and registered as such a person shall be qualified and registered as voter if such a person is a citizen of Nigeria, has attained 18 years. That's qualification for registration. 18 years. Ordinary resident works in or originates from local government area council or ward covered by a registration center, presents himself to registration officers, subject to legal is not subject to any legal incapacity under law to vote. Person shall not register in more than one registration. Now, all the people that lost voters' cards and decided to go and start doing new registration, it's against the law. Any person who contravenes subsection 2 commits an offense and is liable to conviction of a fine of not less than 100,000 or imprisonment for a term of not more than a year or both, depending on how you are seen. Now, those are things that of course come across. So I'm just picking the important parts of the Electoral Act, and this is me skimming through it. You know, I don't want us to do things that. So with the announcement and declaration of election results, I remember that you guys have gone over a collation of results and stuff. So results of the election shall be announced by the presiding officer at the polling unit, B, ward collation officer at registration area or ward collation center, local government area or area council collation officer at the local government area council collation center, state collation officer at the state collation center. The returning officer shall announce the result and declare the winner of the election at the registration area or ward collation center in the case of councillorship election in the FCT, area council collation center in the case of chairmanship and vice chairmanship election in the FCT, state collation center in the case of state house of assembly election, federal constituency collation center in the case of election of the House of Representatives, senatorial district collation center in the case of election of the Senate, state collation center in the case of the election of governor, state collation center in the case of a presidential election, and national collation center in the case of Mr. President. The chief electoral commissioner shall be the returning officer at the presidential election. Now, we all know that all INEC officers must remain neutral. I'm just not choosing to read that part because I think we'll go through a lot of things. Now, I would like to pick, so I just caught very interesting parts, 30, prohibition of double nominations in political parties. So a candidate for an election shall be nominated in writing by such number of persons. Sometimes I'll give an example. When I was running for Senate, it was, I believe, 60. A number of persons, so 60 persons, whose names appear on the registers of voters in the constituency as the commission may prescribe. A person shall not nominate more than one person for an election into office. Meaning, if you sign for anybody for House of Rep into the same office, you sign for anybody in House of Rep, you cannot sign for anybody in House of Rep again. You have to wait. Senate, President, Governor, yes, but you can't sign for anybody in House of Rep again. 3, any person who contravenes subsection 2 commits an offense and is liable to conviction to a fine of 100,000 or imprisonment for 3 months or both. Now, an account shall not be taken of the signature of a person on a nomination paper where the candidate has died, withdrawn the nomination, or the paper was invalid. Okay, so a candidate may, now withdrawal of a candidate, and this becomes interesting. Let's go to withdrawal of a candidate. A candidate, that's 31. A candidate may withdraw his or her candidature by notice in writing signed by him and delivered personally by the candidate to the political party that nominated him for election. The political party shall convey such a withdrawal to the commission not later than 90 days to the election. Does anybody remember the case of Akpabio, Senate President Ahmed Lawan, who was even behind this act? Does anybody want to comment on such matters? Because this continues, and we'll go to, let's say, 33. Now, watch this. A political party shall not be allowed to change. Can you hear me?
Yes, Edie, we
Hello,
can hear
class.
you. Yes, Edie,
A political party shall not be allowed to change or substitute its candidate whose name has been submitted under Section 29 of this Act, except in the case of death or withdrawal by the candidate, provided by that the case of such a withdrawal or death of candidate, the political party affected shall within 14 days of occurrence of event, hold a fresh primary elections to produce and submit a fresh candidate to the commission for the election concerned. Does this remind anybody of the placeholder thing? And then, people, Ahmed Lawan, Akpabio, and, a few others. Basil, go ahead. I would like to hear what you have to say. Ini, please unmute Basil. Where is Peace and Co? Ini, Peace, are you there? Where are all of you?
I'm here.
You're supposed to be here.
I think this reminds me of the situation in Ebonyi State between the governor and the other lady. And they had to...
Umahi.
Yes, Umahi.
That's Umahi.
Yes, that's Umahi. And called for a fresh primary. And I think eventually he had his way. Unlike Ahmed Lawan that couldn't get his way because the other man could
Remember
not.
that, Basil, I hope you are aware that in Ahmed Lawan's case, there was no fresh primaries conducted.
Yes, there was no fresh primaries.
There was just a letter from the party which was instructing that Ahmed Lawan was the new candidate with no fresh primaries.
Which was rejected.
The Machida that was in the case decided to use that against the party, which is why INEC validated him as there was no fresh primaries conducted in the case. Now, coming from a Senate president, this is highly shocking, don't you think? Somebody that helped pass this same...
It is very, very, very shocking. Very, very shocking. It shows that there is no allegiance. Even him does not have allegiance to the act that he passed.
That's it. We're just assuming he read the act he passed. Remember that we're going to get to an interesting part. Remember that we're going to get to a very interesting part which stops them from being delegates. And you wonder how they passed that thing. But we're not there yet. We'll get there. Thank you very much. So we'll continue. So we'll continue with the Electoral Act. And invalidity of multiple nominations. So where a candidate knowingly allows himself to be nominated by more than one political party in more than one constituency, his nomination becomes void. And we need to pay attention to that, especially with our candidates that keep jumping up and down and crossing parties. Now, we'll keep all this. I'll be honest, I wish we could call this, but trust me, we wouldn't finish this class if we decide to take all this. So I just want to take the juicy parts. So return, all this you can read on your own. Of measure of political parties. I remember you guys tried to merge some political parties. So yeah, some of the laws. So 2 or more registered parties may emerge with approval of the commission following a formal request presented to the commission by political parties for that purpose. Now, do you remember some mergers that were to happen within the Electoral College? And some of you didn't. I didn't hear from both chairmen. And I think there was a merger, I can't remember between who and who. I know PRP was involved on one end. And it was to be PRP and someone else. And the merger, I only received a letter from the chairman of PRP and I didn't receive from the other one. And I refused to approve that merger based on the present Electoral Act available in Nigeria. So it's interesting what we have as I don't want us to go through primaries or code. You guys give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Indirect primaries, nomination of candidates, let's skip all that. So the Electoral Act is, of course, something that we should go through. But the primaries, I think we've spoken about it, consensus, indirect, and direct primaries. Now, there's a part of this that's actually interesting. So every political party, this is 86. Okay, sorry, let's first start with 85. So any political party, and these are offenses in relation to finances of political parties, any political party that holds or possesses any fund from outside Nigeria in contravention of section 225, subsection 3A of the Constitution, commits an offense and shall on conviction forfeit the funds or assets purchased with the funds up to the commission. And in addition, be liable to a fine of at least 5 million naira, or B, retains any fund or any other asset remitted to it from outside Nigeria in contravention of subsection 2253A of the Constitution, commits an offense and shall be on conviction forfeit the funds and assets to the commission. In addition, it may be liable to 5 million, function of 5 million naira. Now, why I read this was because I remember I was called in as regards Labour Party when the chairman boasted publicly that Labour Party was seeking funds from outside Nigeria. This total contravention of the Electoral Act and Constitution. And there's a reason why this is not allowed by any political party in any country. This is because foreign influence cannot control parties. Now, you'll find out as we go down, you find out that candidates can seek funding from outside, but political parties cannot. Now, I hope I didn't piss off the obedience or make the articulated and the quasites and the batified laugh, but it was because it's emanated from chairman, and I did quite a thing on diaspora funding. So any official of the party who contravenes subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable to the fine of 1 million or imprisonment of 6 months, the term of 6 months or both. Chairman of chairman of Labour Party, we're removing our glasses, won't say anything. And then the commission has a power, this is 87, the commission has a power to place limitation on the amount of money or assets in which an individual can contribute to a political party or candidate, and to demand such information on the amount donated and source of funds. So INEC has that power. So limitation on campaign expenses, and this is where it gets really interesting. So let's first finish with 7 and then forget it. So it's down to any individual candidate or political party who exceeds the limit placed by the commission in subsection 1 commits an offense and is liable to the conviction, fine of 10 million naira, yada yada yada. Limitation on election expenses. So election expenses shall not exceed the sum stipulated in subsections 2 to 7. The maximum 88.2, the maximum election expenses to be incurred by a candidate at a presidential election shall not exceed 5 billion naira. Now, this is beautiful. I'd like to tell the 9th cohort that we are on something big. The Electoral College, in conjunction with media houses, a few media houses, will be working on collating presidential campaign expenses for all presidential candidates onto February 2022. So I will be forwarding this tonight. INEC will be making it public to media houses because we're working in conjunction with them. We also will be making this information, of course, public to INEC and INEC too. and we'll be querying them on such matters. So the maximum amount for election expenses to be incurred by a candidate in respect of governorship election shall not exceed 1 billion naira. The maximum amount of election expenses to be incurred by candidates irrespective of the senatorial and House of Rep shall not exceed 100 million and 70 million, respectively. In the case of State House Assembly elections, the maximum amount of election expenses to be incurred by a candidate shall not exceed 30 million naira. In the case of councillorship elections to an area council, the maximum amount of election expenses shall not incurred by a candidate shall not exceed 5 million naira. And some people sold forms for councillorship at 2.25 million naira. What was left? That's another story. No individual or any entity shall donate to a candidate more than 50 million naira. A candidate who knowingly acts or contravenes in this section commits an offense and is liable to conviction to a fine of 1% of this amount. God damn, this guy's got to be kidding me. Why won't I get 1 billion naira and pay the fine of 1%? Anyway, as limit of campaign expenditure under this act, an imprisonment for a term of not more than 12 months or both. Any individual who knowingly acts in contravention of subsection 9 is liable to conviction to a maximum fine of 500,000 naira. I don't think we should get depressed. So let's go to 90. A political party shall not accept or keep in its possession any anonymous monetary or other contribution, gift, or property from any source. A political party shall keep an account and asset book to which shall be recorded all monetary and other forms of contributions received. Meaning, if a party does not do this, you can sue them to court. But people don't know this. So conduct rallies, prohibition of certain conduct of political campaigns. Now this is 92, a political campaign or slogan shall not be tainted with abusive language, directly or indirectly, likely to injure religious, ethnic, tribal, or sectional feelings. For those that are calling obedience Igbo. For those that are saying you're not Yoruba if you don't vote for BAT. For those that are saying the North rules. Here you are. No abusive, no slanderous language. Designed or likely to provoke violent reaction or emotions employed in political campaigns. These are all banned. But in Nigeria, we have continued to use these things, and we found them a little fun. Now, section 94 is one I kind of enjoy. I remember, sorry, not 94, that would be, I think, 96. So it's kind of interesting that we need to look at these sections, that's 95 and 96, because a lot of people have gone to infringe on it, and maybe because we do not know its law, we have kind of toyed with it. So 95, a candidate and his or her party shall campaign for the election in accordance to such rules and regulations as may be determined by the commission. 2, state apparatus, including the media. This is very key. 95, section 2, state apparatus, including the media, shall not be employed to the advantage or disadvantage of any political party or candidate in any election. State apparatus refers to anything that's part of the state, be it media, be it somebody serving in office, be it a chief spokesman that is serving as a minister. You cannot impede. So Festus Keyamo serving as a campaign spokesman is in total flagrant disregard of 95 subsection 2 of the Electoral Act of Nigeria. He cannot serve his state apparatus, and he has employed himself and has served within this. 3, 95.3. Media time shall be allocated equally among political parties or candidates at similar hours of the day. You cannot do APC 1 p.m. 8 p.m. when everybody's looking at it, or PDP 8 p.m. when everybody's looking at it, or Labour Party 8 p.m. while everybody's looking at it. No, if you do 8 p.m. today for this thing, you do 8 p.m. tomorrow for APC, you do 8 p.m. tomorrow for PDP, you do 8 p.m. tomorrow for SDP, allocated equally across 18 political parties. Be it down to any other legs, you get a senatorial candidate, that must be done. And we spend a lot of time contravening this thing. Now, at any 95 subsection 4 goes to say, at any public electronic media, equal time must be allotted. Okay, at similar time, sorry, I said that. And then 5, at any public print media, equal coverage and visibility shall be allotted to all political parties. A toast to those governors banning other people's billboards. This is totally flagrantly in contravention of 95 subsection 5 of the Electoral Act. A person who contravenes 3-4 commits an offense and is liable to conviction, which means Senior Advocate Festus Keyamo is supposed to be in jail and supposed to have been stripped of his office. Public media, that's public media, a fine to 2 million and first instance or whatever. That means governors too are to be held at, which means they are playing with their immunity clause and etc. So the rest are things that I feel you guys can read through. Their vacation or seat of members, offenses due to nomination. Can we go back to the PowerPoint? I think we've gone over the electoral card. Don't worry, there's not much left. It's almost done.
He'll be back. I think it's his network. Okay, guys. So while we wait for Edie to return, remember that the arrangement for questions is, if you have any questions, kindly take note of them so that when it's question time, you can just raise your hand and ask your questions.
So good evening, everyone. Sorry, I don't know what went on with the Wi-Fi I was using. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay, so
Ah.
I'd like to say, since I'm limited to my phone now and not my laptop, on the PowerPoint, I have put in several differences which are very simple to follow through. I've put in things that are very simple to follow through, and it will walk through the differences between the 2022 and 2010 Electoral Acts. It's a simple conversation across. So I hope you guys will be able to go through that. It's very self-explanatory, and it completes the class. I'm sorry, but thanks to a few funny things going on, I'd like to end the class here, and I'm happy that I could go over the Electoral Act extensively before we got to this point. So thank you, everyone. The PowerPoint is enough if you just look through the PowerPoint, it's very simple, and it could help. I'll take questions from now. So Ini, thank you very much.
Thank you, Edie. So I said earlier, if you had questions, please raise your hands. When it's question time, take note of your questions. And so, do you have questions? Please raise your hand. I'll ask you to unmute and you'll ask your question. Okay, Precious has a question. Precious, please go ahead.
Good evening, Edie. Good evening, all associate colleagues. Good evening. Edie, I thank you very much for a wonderful class. My question is this. When the network has been somehow throwing me off and on, but then I heard when the part where we're talking about expenditure by candidates, and then all the specifications. So the question I have is, beyond that expenditure by candidates, is there a level of expenditure also for parties? Because I suppose parties, although I suppose parties also have their own funds that they handle, and they can also spend on behalf of their candidates or their platform from that purse. So I don't know if I hope my question is not out of order, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Precious. So Precious, your question is not out of order, but remember that a party is full of candidates. So just think of, if they have, like, let's say, let me give an example with House of Rep. The House of Rep, the limit is 70 million. So a party will naturally have 360 House of Rep candidates running for office. So if you multiply 360 by 70, it means you have the total amount they can spend on House of Rep elections. They can only have one presidential candidate, so 36 governors, so that's 1 billion, 36 billion for governors. I think that's a bit of spending. The party cannot spend more than 36 billion. That means 1 billion is limited. The candidate is limited, the party is limited. That's not INEC's business. For a governor, whether party is giving. So the party can all form a whole. And that whole is limited by. Hello?
Yes, Edie.
Who is saying I'm breaking up? Am I breaking up?
Yes, you broke up. You broke up a little.
Where?
Where the party is conducting elections.
Now, I'll try to make it simple. So the limit on a governor is 1 billion. Only bring out 36 gubernatorial candidates. It means that the party and the billion on gubernatorial elections. Whether the party is bringing INEC's business is your candidates. One person cannot spend to chip in 10%, chip in 20%. That's people's business. And so parties are not limited. But because parties are made up of candidates, those candidates, do you understand? So it indirectly limits party spending. Or is it still complicated?
I think that he has responded.
Okay, I
Precious.
sound like I'm talking to myself because nobody's answering.
Oh, no. Okay, Precious has, let me check the chat. Okay, Precious says that he understands. So we're going to Anthony. Anthony, please ask your question.
Okay, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you,
Hello?
Anthony. Yes, Anthony, we can hear you.
Hello? Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Okay, it's okay. Thank you. Edie, thank you so much for the explanation. My question goes to concerning the expenditure of the parties and the INEC monitoring. My first question is the work of INEC not too much? And secondly, how will INEC be able to be monitoring this? For example, like I heard Tinubu giving a church 20 million naira. Will that one be included? All those personal donations from the parties and combinations of parties, party candidates campaigns. Like for example, in Akwa Ibom, I think last week Saturday, the campaign was open. The president, the House, Senate, and all other parties were there. They joined all of them together. Then how would I next sit down to separate all these things? And those are my questions, sir. Thank you.
First, I'll remind you that the flag off in Akwa Ibom, which you're talking about, I believe was a PDP presidential campaign flag off. It was not a gubernatorial flag off. So whatever expense, it will be accounted to the presidential campaign. Do you get it? So
yes,
you're saying that INEC's job is weighted. No, INEC's job is weighted, but INEC also
the second week.
The
Sorry,
first
sir.
week was a
The
presidential
second week
flag
was
off.
the senator. I'm talking about the second week. Second week was a lot of them the party candidates were given flag off starting from Senate and the rest of them.
That is a party affair. That's not a candidate affair. If they were presented flag offs, that's a party affair. So that is not calculated. So as regards monitoring, which you also mentioned, now monitoring is not only INEC's duty. We as candidates will monitor. If you flag INEC on it and you tag INEC on it and you send relevant information to INEC, INEC will act. INEC is not all knowing. And I think the problem in Nigeria is that we all have mortgaged our responsibility to relevant agencies. No, if you want to know why the police is effective in the US, people report. If you want to know why the US Electoral Commission is fair, people participate. You can't, in Nigeria, we mortgage responsibility, it's INEC's job. INEC can't do everything. We are in a country.
Yeah.
So if you and that's why the Electoral College decided to take, like I said earlier, we're working with media houses and we'll be trying to track all this. It's going to be hard. It's going to be very much hard. It's hard work. We're even thinking of calling it code and budgets, our sister organizations, to sit down and let's start tracking campaign funding and campaign expenditure. Sorry. And if we are able to do that, it means that it's for the first time in Nigeria's history, we have relevant information on campaign expenditure. We don't care whether let me explain something. Now, people like the obedience, no offense to the obedience, I'm just using an example with them a lot. Maybe because I think they are the most politically illiterate, no offense. Crew, yes, they love a candidate, but they go about things, a little funny. So the obedience now, for example, would want to say, this is our candidate, no, they give shishi. We give t-shirts. All that will be calculated inside President candidate Peter Obi's expenditure. Because it's donations to his campaign, it will be calculated to not be subtracted.
Wow.
So it's not wow.
Wow.
Anything that is done, you donate money to, you give 20 million to flood victims as a candidate. Yes. Why did you give the money last year when you were not a candidate? This year you are giving it. What's
That's
wrong
the
with your
question, sir.
what was wrong with your answers?
Yeah.
That's not, it's not
Yeah.
available.
Because it.
You give 100 million like the
Yeah.
APC candidate, it's part of your campaign expenditure. So it's not, you can't separate yourself from it. It doesn't work that way.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay then.
I was expecting someone to do a follow-up question on that. So our next question is from Bill Kisu.
I saw something before Bilkisu talks. I saw something within the chat. If you follow me on social media, I flagged Festus Keyamo on that matter. I flagged him and tagged him on that matter that he has contravened subsection 2. And there are a few of us taking it up that a serving minister cannot be a campaign spokesman. But it's not that Cuban's party cannot continue. The truth is, you don't in any other country. It doesn't work that way. That's not how. We can go ahead with your question.
Okay, Bill Kisu, please go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, Bill
Can
Kisu.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Edie, my question goes towards, should INEC really give money to political parties?
Parties that stopped sometime in 2000.
Sir?
That stopped in 2000 because in 1999 when
It's breaking.
Yeah, it's breaking.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sentences are skipping. We are missing parts of sentences.
Okay. Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
So in 1999 when democracy started, parties were not strong enough to help carry national campaigns. So it was decided that parties will be given assistance. And this happened till 2007, I believe. After 2007, last election, 2011, parties haven't been funded by INEC.
Okay. Then my other question is, INEC staff, people that work with INEC, is it legally right for them to belong to a political party?
They must represent
Yeah, I'm not talking of voting. Yes, I'm not talking of voting. They actually can exercise their civic rights. Sir?
I understand your question, and
Okay.
Act, they cannot be possible. It is not possible. It's not hidden. They cannot.
But is it in their act? Is it spelled out?
Extra act again. Thank you. You have it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bill Kisu. Thank you, Lee. That's the last question. Gilias, or I don't know if I got the name right. Your hand was up, but apparently you don't want to ask your question anymore. Oh, okay, you're back.
Thank you very much, man. My question is that number one.
Sally, we can hear the noise in your background, but not your voice.
I'm with you.
Gasali, I can't hear you. The noise.
The noise is not here.
Tell you have a question. Please ask your question.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, Gasali, I suggest you type your question. We cannot hear you. Please type your question, and we'll take a question from the chat.
Okay.
Tonight, ED, someone is asking, can INEC sue a candidate sue INEC?
Went over the Electoral Act, and INEC as a corporate body can sue. Thing I read out in the Electoral Act. We read this part. If I didn't read, started the and Ini, I wait you to read the question on the box, please.
Okay, we didn't hear you. Your line broke off.
I said INEC can sue and can be sued. That was the first thing I read in the class. And when you go over the Electoral Act, that is the first set of things in the Electoral Act. INEC can sue and be sued.
Okay, so the final question today is, does anyone audit the books of INEC? Who holds them accountable?
The purview of INEC is directly under the National Assembly, like every other part of the executive. So executive oversight, as you've learned, is under the National Assembly. I hope that answers that question.
I believe it does. Thank you very much for an exciting session, Edie. We appreciate you. Thank you for leading us through this journey. Guys, please, let's see your comments. What do you think about tonight's session?
I'd like to thank everyone, since it's the last class in the cohort. I'd like to thank everyone for their commitment. A few students who have become friends, people that I've grown used to. I'd like to thank everyone for their performance in the 9th cohort. I look forward to seeing you all at the graduation. This is supposed to be done by Lisa. Lisa is seen in action. So thank you, everyone. And Ini, maybe you complete it as part of the region. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Edie. And yes, as Edie announced today, from henceforth, you are now associates. So congratulations there, associates. It's been so good to have you in this cohort. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
I think they don't have a class tomorrow. I think it's graduation on Sunday.
Graduation on Sunday.
Yes.
So we'll see you all on Sunday.
Yes, the graduation link and the graduation flyer will be put up. That's where everyone will be announced there. Would announce the timing, everything. So look forward to a great graduation. We're inviting speakers from the BOT, our partners, people that have been very strong with leadership in Nigeria. We look forward to your graduation. We'll read the names there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Edie. So, guys, associates, congratulations. See you all on Sunday.
And everyone, for love of God and country, as always. It's been a privilege working with the 94th. God bless you all.